Hi there. To start off our literacy lesson today, we're going to have a look at some vocabulary which can be useful in a non-chronological report when you're making subheadings. So subheadings are ways to split up your text into different parts. So if you've got lots of information about, say, Mexican clothes, then you need a subheading, which is all to do with Mexican clothing. If you want to talk about schools in Mexico, then you'd again have a different subheading to show that. Now, the way that you do subheadings, you can just do boring ones like Mexican schools, Mexican clothes, Mexican fiestas, anything like that. However, you could try to make them a little bit more interesting by writing different types of subheading. So have a think about different types of subheading you might have. We did do subheadings back in the autumn term when we looked at a farmyard non-chronological report. So I wonder if you can remember any of those different types. So the first one I can think of is a question subheading. Now, a question subheading will ask the reader something that they want to find out about. For example, what language is spoken in Mexico? And then your paragraph of writing would be explaining all about the language that's spoken in Mexico and why that's spoken. I wonder if you can come up with your own question subheading about Mexican clothes. How did you get on with that? Hopefully quite good. If you're ready, you can move on to the next one. If you still need a bit more time, then remember to pause the video and then finish your subheading before moving on. The second type of subheading can be an exclamation subheading. An exclamation subheading can be when something's quite exciting or interesting in particular. So an example of that would be, wow, what amazing weather. Did you notice that when I said that, I read it with more expression? Wow, what amazing weather. I didn't just read it as, wow, what amazing weather, because that exclamation mark tells me to exclaim what I'm saying. Again, can you have a go now at seeing if you can write your own exclamation subheading? Are you ready to move on? We've now got one more subheading type, and this is probably the most difficult one out of the three, because this one involves a bit more thinking. It's alliteration. Can you remember what alliteration is? Alliteration is where you use the same sound at the beginning of a word. For example, fun-filled fiestas. In that, we've got f at the start of every one of those words, fun-filled fiestas. So rather than just saying it's about Mexican fiestas, I've said it's fun-filled fiestas, and it just sounds a bit more exciting. Can you have a go at seeing if you can come up with your own subheading using alliteration? Now that activity will be quite useful for you later in the week when we're writing our own non-chronological report. So remember all of what you've just done in the subheading starter. We're going to move on to today's main part, which is all to do with putting information appropriately into subheadings to sort the information correctly. So to be successful, we're going to see if we can read the information. We're going to see if we can understand what the information is telling us. We're going to see if we can choose an appropriate subheading for the information. And if you want a challenge, you can maybe create your own information to fit a subheading as well. So I'm going to show you 4 pieces of information now. And I think that these 4 pieces of information are all to do with Mexico, but they're all to do with different things. There should be 2 separate groups of information. So I'm going to read the sentences and show you them. Then I'd like to pause them and have a think about what groups you'd like to put these sentences into. So the first one says, Mexicans eat a variety of spicy foods that are often flavored with chili. There are apartments, modern homes, and luxurious resorts in Mexico's tourist cities. Typical Mexican homes have a Spanish style and may be decorated with hand-painted tiles and bright colours. Many meals are served with tortillas. A tortilla is a flat bread that is made from cornmeal. So all of that information is to do with Mexico in some way, but what 2 separate groups would you put that information into? Pause the video and have a think. Now that you've had a chance to think, I wonder if you can explain why you've organised the information in that way, and can you think of a subheading to go for each group? Now I'm hoping that you put the blue sentence along with the purple sentence. So I'm going to move that there now. And I'm hoping that you put the brown sentence along with the green sentence. I wonder why I've sorted the information in that way. Well, if you look at the blue and the purple sentences, they're all to do with Mexican food, about what people in Mexico might like to eat. So it's talking about spicy foods, chili, tortillas. But these sentences are nothing to do with food. They're to do with the types of buildings that can be found in Mexico. So if I wanted to do a subheading for this one here, I could just have Mexican, whoops, can't spell, Mexican buildings. And that could be my subheading. But remember, that's not very interesting, is it? We want to try and make it interesting by using maybe a question, an exclamation, or some alliteration in our subheading. So instead of just having Mexican buildings, I could have big buildings. That's alliteration. Now we know big's not the most exciting word, but I have used alliteration, so it does make it a bit more interesting than just buildings. Maybe you could think of a better one than me, and maybe let me know later on. Now for your task today, I'm going to show you some information, and I want you to see if you can put that information into appropriate groups all about Mexico. There are 3 levels of difficulty, so I'd like to choose the one that's right for you. So there's an easy, a medium, and a challenge, and I'd like to choose the one that you think you can do. If you want to have a go at the challenge one and you find it too difficult, then maybe you can have a look at the medium one or even the easy one. There's no shame in doing the easy work, but there is shame in doing work that's too easy for you. So please make sure you choose something that's right for you.